Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to talk about the upcoming protests at all 50 state capitals. You know, the gun rallies that are scheduled for later this month. Well, it seems like a lot of politicians and a lot of law enforcement, etc., are using the excuse of what happened at the Capitol to say these should be stopped. They shouldn't go forward. And if they are going to go forward, we should be prepared to stomp them out, basically. Because they're saying that these 2A rallies are just covers for more insurrectionist events, more attempted coups. And I want to talk about that today because that's something I've been warning people about for quite a while. This is kind of a I told you so video. Remember back during the summer when some gun channels were loving posting their violence porn and their anti-BLM shit and their anti-this shit. And I was like, dudes, you all need to chill because all you're doing is creating a precedent that it's okay to demonize everybody involved with something because of the actions of a few. So when you're posting all these pictures of someone burning a car, 1,000 times over, and someone engaging in violence, and you're saying, see, that's what these people are all about, and they should be stopped. They shouldn't be allowed to protest. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. Well, now that's turned on us. Because of what the people did at the Capitol, now they're saying they shouldn't be having these gun rallies at Capitols. They shouldn't be allowed to be armed there. States are passing laws saying, all right, if you come to the Capitol, you can't be armed. It's backfiring on us. Because double standard. We imposed a double standard here, at least we're trying to. And that's why I kept telling people, it's very important. If you don't like BLM, ignore BLM. If you don't like Antifa, ignore Antifa. They're not anything to worry about. If you dislike the people breaking the law, say those people who break the law during these events should be dealt with to the full extent of the law. Like I said, for the people at the Capitol. If we did that, we wouldn't have to be trying to stumble all over ourselves and trip on our own words and tie ourselves in knots, trying to justify why it was okay then, but it's not okay now. Why is it okay to amplify all that violence, but it's not okay to amplify this violence? It's unfair the way we're being treated. Well, it was unfair the way you treated other organizations too. We don't have to agree with them. I don't agree with BLM at all. Don't like them. Definitely don't agree with Antifa. I think they're pathetic. But I think they have a right to protest. I think they have a right to be heard because we are a free society here. We have a constitution that guarantees they have a right to be heard and not to be stomped out by state or federal police officers or law enforcement. So when you were asking for that for them, that makes it fair game for everyone else to ask for it for us now. So that's my little I told you so moment right there. But to the fact of, do I think these are just covers for more insurrectionist events? Maybe. I don't know. But that doesn't mean we get to stomp out their speech. It doesn't mean we get to infringe on their right to assemble. I'm okay with more police officers coming. If they want to have a bigger police presence, fine. If they want to shut down the Capitol building and tell everybody not to come to work that day, fine. I don't care. That's not what the protest is about. As long as people see it, because it'll make the news. If they close down the Capitol for a protest, I guarantee you the news crews are going to be there. So we can still do what we need to do if they shut things down. What I'm not okay with, and the reason I'm going to go, right now I have every plans of going to the one here. I can't decide which one I want to go to, the one in Oregon or the one in Seattle. If anyone's running either one of them, let me know which one you think will be the better one to go to. But I'm not going there to support insurrection. I'm not going there to, speak out against the government even. I'm going there to speak for gun rights. And I'm also going there to watch, not the protesters. If the protesters get out of hand, let the police deal with them. I'm there to watch the police to make sure they don't suppress the protesters. They don't infringe on their rights. Because those police that everyone on the right loves so much, thin blue line, they seem to think they're so great until they're on the other side of them, like at the Capitol and what's liable to happen in the next couple of weeks at the other protests. Maybe that'll wake up some people about the thin blue line bullshit and how they've been duped into being, we love the police, simply because that's what the powers that be want you to do so that you will obey them. But I'm going there, like I said, to watch the police, not to watch the protesters. Because I think it's very likely now that, like I said, they're going to use this as an excuse to suppress our voices. They're going to say, oh, the crowd started to get unruly. As we marched towards them in formation with billy clubs drawn, they started making noise, so we had to disperse them. They're very likely to try to impose their will on us these coming weeks simply because they think they're justified now. Because, look, these aren't just real protests. They're a front for people that want to do wrong. So instead of dealing with just the people who actually do the wrong, we can shut down the protest, right? Because it's just a front for something else, which is something a lot of gun channels preached all summer long. So I do intend to go to these protests because I've been getting a lot of people asking me, and I do intend to go, as I said, but not to watch the protesters, not to engage in any type of dissension or revolt, but to just watch the police and watch the powers that be and see how they react to this. Because right now, everything they're saying is all about stomping out free protest, stomping out free speech. And using the example of what happened at the Capitol as a reason to do it. Because now they can't possibly just be protesters. They're involved in something else. Because maybe 5% of the people at that rally, maybe 5%, did something wrong. They're talking like, oh, there's going to be up to 100, 200 people charged. There were thousands there. I'd say at least 5,000 people there. 100 people isn't a very big percentage of 5,000. So this whole thing, like I said, what goes around comes around. It's come around on us now. And even though I can lay the blame straight at the feet of the people who, like I said, demonized everything going on during the summer, blew things out of proportion, used things to try to deny people their rights, doesn't matter who's to blame right now. It matters what we're going to do about it and what's going to happen. So like I said, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to hope that we can have a protest that sticks to being a 2A protest and isn't about insurrection or religion or any of the other things people love to bring to their 2A protests. But like I said, I hope it goes well. I don't know if it's gonna, but I hope. And I think the police are going to try to make it go poorly. Because just saying, oh, well, they can have all the security they want, but it doesn't hurt to have security. It does. If they're lined up like jackbooted thugs outside and they surround the crowd at any point in time, or they make threatening moves towards the crowd, that could easily incite something happening. Or they could put people inside the crowd who could do something to start trouble. You know, it's not hard. And when you subscribe to that idea of, oh, well, if anyone gets violent, then the whole crowd is to blame. If you subscribe to that mentality or support it any at all, then you're complicit in that actually happening. So I will be going, or at least I will try my best to go. And I hope things go well. But right now, I honestly don't know. All right, with that being said, I want to address another aspect of what happened a couple of weekends ago now at the Capitol, the insurrection, a lot of people are calling, or the attack on the Capitol. A lot of people are under the impression that I said, because I don't think a lot of people should be charged with things like insurrection, blah, 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 that I think a coup didn't happen, that I think people didn't attempt an insurrection, that wasn't a definite act of sedition. It was. I do believe there was an act of sedition there. I do believe there was a coup attempt. But I don't think most of the rank and file people on the ground are to blame for it. I put more blame on Trump and Brooks and every other senator who stirred the people up and congressman who stirred the people up and politicians that have been lying to them for years. I blamed them more than I blamed the people. And that's why I don't think a lot of people should get charged with it. Because I think most people that went in there either weren't aware they were involved in a coup at all. They thought they were just making a statement. Or they were there because they truly believed the lies they've been told for years. Not just the most recent ones, the ones they've been told for years. That concentrated effort by politicians to keep people ignorant and angry so they're easy to manipulate. So they created this class of people, and then they're supposed to punish them now because they acted the way they created them to act, the way they encouraged them to act. No, I don't think the average everyday person should have their lives ruined over this because they reacted on what they were told by their congressman, their representative, their president. A lot of people in there, they weren't there to topple the U.S. government or to overthrow our Constitution. They were there thinking they were there to protect our Constitution, to take back our country. Whether they were right or they're wrong, their intention does mean something. And the fact that they hold those beliefs, even if they're incorrect, because they've been constantly fed them by politicians. I don't like this whole idea that these people that walked into the Capitol, they're going to go to jail for 20 years. They're going to be labeled traitors because they followed the directions of their supposed leaders. And I'm not saying they all fall into this category. There were some people there that knew exactly what they were doing. There were people there that were waiting for violence, that went there looking to kidnap people, went there looking to hurt people, etc. Those people should be punished to the full extent of the law. But I think it was the politicians that shouldn't be getting away scot-free. And that's what's going to happen. Politicians will walk away scot-free. Even the ones like Ted Cruz that were riling people up and then going on TV and going, oh, I would never support the violence. And then goes to another live event, says the exact opposite. He's really shown his colors over the last week. He'll talk out of both sides of his mouth, not only with a week or two between them, but on the same day, by the way. So I just don't like this whole notion that, once again, the politicians that created the circumstances, fed the narrative, and encouraged the violence walk away scot-free. Maybe, oh, you've been censored. You've been censored. Don't do that again. Something like that. Whereas people on the ground who actually thought they were acting at the behest of their president, their constitution, etc., as misguided as they may have been, those people go to jail for 20 years or have their lives ruined. I'm not okay with that at all. Yes, I think a lot of them did wrong. There are some people that did wrong for the wrong reason. Lock them up forever for all I care. If they actually tried to overthrow our government, knowing that the reasons they were overthrowing it aren't the real reasons and aren't valid reasons. You know, the stuff they said, like election and blah. There's a lot of people there that just wanted to attack the government, didn't care if the government was wrong or right. It was just their way or the highway. Like I said, you can put those people under the prison for all I care. But there were a lot of people that were there doing what they thought was right because they're ignorant and they're misled. Those people I don't think deserve the same punishment. And then there were a lot of people that were just there because they didn't really know what was going on. You know, they didn't understand the full extent of what was happening. I can very easily see some, not that well connected person from the Midwest who's, a housewife most of the time, who heard a bunch of stuff and went to the Capitol because she was afraid this stuff is true, and then just ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time, didn't steal anything, didn't break down any doors, didn't do anything like that. So those people, I think, deserve leniency. So I don't want to see a lot of people thrown in jail forever, because what does that do other than further divide the people and further the ignorance? Because no one learns anything here, because the politicians aren't being held accountable and they're being allowed to go on and continue the cycle of keep them ignorant and angry, keep manipulating them, blah, blah, blah. And we don't have to worry about any repercussions of it. That's what I don't like seeing. So I am not saying that there wasn't an attempted coup. I'm not saying that some people there weren't traitors and should be put under the jail. I'm just saying it's not most of them. It's not even most of the ones that actually knew something was happening, that actually knew the extent of what was going on, because they thought it was for a good reason. And you might say, well, ignorance is no excuse, but sometimes ignorance is an excuse when you're being intentionally kept ignorant by those in charge. You might disagree with me, but that's how I feel. So like I said, a coup did occur. An attempted coup did occur. But was everybody involved? No. And does everyone deserve to have their lives ruined? Definitely not if the politicians aren't among them. All right, I want to close out the show today with our viewer EDC, our concealed carrier of the day. Today we have Charles C., good old Chucky. And as you can see, Charles is carrying a K6S double action, single action 3-inch. Well, you can't really see the gun because it's covered completely by the holster. But that's what he's carrying in a DeSantis speed scabbard. And he's also carrying an additional 18 rounds of Barnes Tactical XPD ammo. And there's not a lot negative I can say about this setup. To me, this is an awesome setup. So many people think that when you carry a revolver, oh, you've only got 6 or 7 shots. Oh, how are you going to deal with that? No, revolvers are easy to reload. If you're ever in a situation where you need more than 6 or 7 shots, which is very slim, I would hope the first thing you did was seek cover so you can reload under cover. but revolvers aren't impossible to reload. I actually have a video where I show you can reload them pretty quickly, especially if you stick your tongue out while you're doing it. I don't know if I can find the footage for that. If I did, I would show it to you here while I'm talking, but I don't know if I'll ever find it. But if I do, I'll show it to you. But like I said, you can reload revolvers. This is a great setup. He's got a great holster. He's got a good gun. He's got extra rounds of ammo. Like I said, can't really give him any advice. Looks like he's doing everything pretty much the way I would do it. Well, I mean, I could give you some advice of if you're going to put up bookshelves in your house so that you'll look intellectual, at least put some books on them. Or else it just looks like you got a bunch of empty bookshelves in your house. So other than that, though, perfect setup as far as I'm concerned. So there you have it. Chucky, Charles C., with his EDC of a K6S double action, single action with extra rounds in his speed scabbard. That's our viewer EDC of the day. All right, everybody, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back tomorrow, even though I can't really give you a good reason why you should. But I hope you do, because I like talking to all of you. And speaking of talking to you, I want to remind you that I do a live chat pretty much every day. If you want to get a hold of me, if you want to call me a name, ask me a question, or just make a statement you want me to address, come on into our live chats. If you want to come into a chat live and tell me off about something, you can do that too. So join us pretty much any night. I have one of the largest face-to-face online live, one of the largest, if not the largest live face-to-face presence of all the gun channels on YouTube. So if you want to talk to me, not hard to find. Come find me pretty much any evening. Just check out my channel and see when the next chat is scheduled for. So with that being said, I just want to remind everyone that this channel is 100% viewer funded. So if you want to be a funder of this channel and support the TYM Triple P, the Pets and Vets Project, etc., the things we fund, you can go over to tympistolproject.com, check us out. Look what we're all about. And then if you like it, you can go over to patreon.com/The Yankee Marshal and become a supporter of the channel. There are links to both of those things in the upper corner of this video so that you don't have to actually type things into a browser. I know how people hate to do that. So with that being said, I'll sign off today, as always, by saying, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, it is what it is. But if we stick together, we weed out the fearmongers, weed out the profiteers, weed out the bad influences and the people that make us all bad and are willing to drag us down because of their own self-interest. If we do that, we keep level heads and we fight the way that we need to fight to win this battle, we will win it. And what the future will be, what things will be in the future, is better.